Throwing velocity is a crucial component for success in baseball, especially for the pitcher, whose role is to throw the baseball from the pitcher's mound toward the catcher to begin each play, with the aim of retiring the batter. Through practice and proper instruction, pitchers can refine their pitching mechanics to maximize efficiency and throwing velocity. Alongside throwing practice, non-specific training, such as traditional gym-based resistance training, and specific training, such as variably weighted baseballs, can be used to further facilitate increases in throwing velocity. The article, published in the Strength and Conditioning Journal, titled Training Methods to Increase Throwing Velocity in Baseball Athletes, by Trey D.W and colleagues, reviewed the training methods that have been found to have the greatest benefit to pitching performance, and in doing so provide recommendations for non-specific and specific training methods. This presentation, brought to you by Talking Sports Science, will be a summary of their recommendations. Firstly, non-specific strength training, such as gym-based resistance training using a variety of equipment, such as dumbbells, barbells, medicine balls, resistance tubing and pulley devices, can enhance throwing velocity by using either heavy or light loads. Heavy resistance training, for example loads that are in the range of 3 to 12 repetition maximum, can be used to enhance force development. Using these loads has resulted in a 1.2 to 4.1% increase in throwing velocity. Whereas resistance training with lighter loads, i.e. greater than 12 repetition maximum, can be used with low repetitions to emphasize velocity development, or with higher repetitions to learn technique, build muscle, and injury resistance. Resistance training with lighter loads has resulted in greater increases, for example between 2.4 to 10.7% in throwing velocity. Lighter loads can also be used to strengthen smaller muscle groups involved in throwing, such as the shoulder rotator cuff group, which is responsible for decelerating the arm after ball release. Therefore, it is recommended to train this muscle group in order to withstand the high forces experienced in the shoulder during the deceleration phase of the throwing motion. Moving on to specific strength training. An example of specific strength training includes variably weighted baseballs, which closely resemble your standard 5-ounce baseball with stitched seams. However, as the name implies, they vary in mass and are used for velocity-specific training. These variably weighted baseballs can be used in training to improve specific arm strength and throwing velocity. Overweight balls with high specificity include balls that are up to 6 ounces, whereas balls weighing more than 6 ounces are considered to be low specificity. Similarly, underweight balls of high specificity include balls that are as light as 4 ounces, whereas balls less than 4 ounces are considered to be low specificity. The combined use of overweight and underweight variably weighted balls has been effective in increasing throwing velocity, with increases ranging between 3.1 to 7.3%. In terms of recommendations for implementing different weighted baseballs, it is important for coaches to progressively introduce variably weighted baseballs with more mass to ensure throwing mechanics remain consistent during training. Therefore, baseball athletes should be first introduced to underweight balls before progressing toward overweight, high specificity baseballs, i.e. up to 6 ounces, before finally moving toward overweight, low specificity baseballs. It should be highlighted that weighted balls can overload musculature that accelerates the throwing arm. However, after ball release, load outside of the throwing arm's mass is not available to further overload muscles in deceleration. And that concludes the recommendations for enhancing throwing velocity in baseball athletes. Thanks for listening, folks. See you next time.